What's up, Whisper Nation? It is Thirsty Thursday, and your boys are back here, the Fantasy Whispers, and we're talking some wide receivers, some running backs that you might want to try to trade for right now or trade away. And then we're going to dive into some matchups that you might want to either get these guys in your lineup or temper some expectations for this weekend. All that and more on this episode of the Fantasy Whispers. Make sure you hit that subscribe and hit that bell on the way in.
Right here.
That's right. Like Johnny said, we're going to be talking our biggest Thirsty Thursday topics heading into week 5 of the 2021 fantasy football season. But if you like that fresh fantasy football content, and I know you do, and I know you want more of it, so consider subscribing on the YouTube channel, giving this and other videos a like on your way in. Welcome all the way in, Whisper Nation. My name is Big Travie. You can find me on Twitter at Big Travie TFW. I'm joined by Johnny Game Time Hicks, who you can also find on Twitter at Johnny_Game Time. Johnny, what's good, brother?
Dude, what's going on, man? The Whisper Nation showing out. They're excited. They're pumped, dude. Thirsty Thursday is going to be fierce tonight. We got some players. Oh, man.
Mr. Miyagi saying, yo. Oscar
Mr.
the
Miyagi
Grouch saying, let Alex Collins loose.
Dude.
Yeah, we're going to talk about all of this stuff right now. So here's the deal. The Thirsty Thursday is just our treat that we started this year to try and give you guys a little bit more as we head into the week 5 slate of games. And we wanted to give you that extra show. And so on this show, we're going to talk about buy low, sell high guys. We're going to talk about trade targets, guys you want to trade away. We're going to talk about cornerback wide receiver matchups that we really like or dislike this week. And also, we're going to talk about news and notes. And so we're going to start the show with that, Johnny. But before we do, I want to let Whisper Nation know about Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is the best and easiest place to play fantasy football for big cash prizes. They have player prop bets like over, under on touchdowns, receiving yardage, rushing totals, and more. We will be helping you build a few bet slips each week. Hopefully they're not sleeps.
Bet sleeps right there, dude.
Don't sleep. But head on over to UnderdogFantasy.com and download the app. They're going to give you $10 when you use the promo code TFW. That is UnderdogFantasy.com, or download the app. Use the promo code TFW for $10 of free money. That's TFW for $10. Johnny, did you went to a WNBA game last night? I don't know if you caught the Dodgers winning in the 9th inning. The wild card playoff game. It was a walk-off home run by Chris Taylor. So I was watching it with my girlfriend last night, and it was just an epic game for baseball. But I know you went to the WNBA game. It's fun that we're getting into that groove right now. We're going to have playoff baseball and football into the mix. So it's going to be a fun time.
Yeah. Shout out Phoenix Mercury, 1 game away from going to the finals. And dude, it's a good time to be a Arizona fan right now. It's a good time to be a sports fan, and congrats to your Dodgers. Yeah, my Diamondbacks, dude. We couldn't even lose right, dude. We had to lose the last game of the season to get the #1 pick, and guess what? We won. Unbelievable, dude. We can't even lose right. So,
they're definitely not my Dodgers. I'll be pulling for them in the playoffs. I'm a big Angels fan, but definitely not a Dodger fan. But that was a great game. Just wanted to bring that up. Whisper Nation out here showing up and showing out right now.
Yeah.
And Corey in here saying, I love the extra show. Cracking a beer for Thirsty Thursday. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
420 says, hey, guys, we see all your guys' questions in here. We see all your guys' questions in here. We're going to get to those at the end of the show. That's our drill here. We want to get through some of the other content here for you, though. And part of that is the news and notes. And, Johnny, it's been a busy news day today.
Dude.
So because we have so much, I don't want to, sit here and just go over all the ton of the news. We'll have a bigger show on news and notes tomorrow with the News and Nuggets show that we do. But I want to roll through some of these headlines, and you can start telling me, quickly what you think the big deal is. If it's are you buying or selling? That's what we'll do here. We'll do a little buy or sell on this news because we have so much of it.
Oh, I like the buy or sells.
So let's roll into it. Lions OC Anthony Lynn says he's hinting at the beat writer says that he hints at a hot hand backfield. Johnny, are you buying or selling this for the Detroit Lions here?
I'm somewhat buying it, somewhat selling it. And by that, I mean, I do think that there will be games in which Detroit will want to run the ball a little bit more to stay in games. So who are they going to then give the ball a little bit more to? Well, that would be a Jamal game. And so but does it mean that in any game I'm benching Swift, or Swift doesn't have the ceiling? No, because he does still have the ceiling. He does can't get that ultimate ceiling with Jamal there being the only, running back there. But I do think this makes, Jamal a continuous hold, as a RB3 flex play on certain weeks. If they have like a positive looking game script, then you can throw him out there. I think that's more so what he's like hinting at or talking about, as opposed to, hey, every single week I'm just rolling the dice and I'm going to throw these guys out there, and whoever's, playing better, I'm going to stick with.
So we got Cowboys Amari Cooper, hamstring and the rib injury that he dealt with the Chargers, and then he pulled a hamstring, came back in that game. But he says on how he's feeling, I'm good. Pain ain't nothing that bad, and he will play Sunday versus the Giants. Are you buying or selling that the pain isn't inhibiting Amari Cooper?
This guy, like the fact that he came back in the game before is amazing to me. So
you see this all the time where guys on hamstrings like will leave the game, and I thought for sure I was sitting there like, because I have Cooper in a few leagues, and I'm watching him pull up on his hamstring, and I go, well, that's it. It's a Sterling Shepard day or an AJ Brown day where he pulls his hamstring and he's done. Cooper comes back into the game, snags all three targets, scores the touchdown, and then basically scored on some cornerback he didn't even know his name. CJ Henderson. He's like, CJ Henderson.
It's like, turn around. Let me read the back of your jersey.
Okay, that's nice to know. Yeah, so I'm with you. I'm buying that this is no big deal, and he's continuing to do that. Yeah. Christian McCaffrey practicing on Thursday. Johnny, are you buying the opportunity for him to come back this week, or you think it's more of a next week thing? John, I mean the Christian McCaffrey take just absolutely it froze Johnny here.
Wow.
Whoa, are you there?
Shutting us down. Back. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right.
Now you see me. Now you don't.
Now you don't, dude. They didn't like my take. Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
testing,
I got
testing.
You. Yeah.
All right. Sorry. I don't know. I guess they're just trying to shut down the channel. They don't like what I'm saying here.
Let's try again with that Christian McCaffrey, because I didn't hear you, and I don't know if we got through or not.
Yes. No worries. So with Christian McCaffrey, I do think that they'll hold him out one more week, and then just because they need it, they don't need him, obviously. Like, their offense can move efficiently without him, but like, he's a huge piece. Why risk putting him in there a week too early? I think they might learn their lesson from what has happened over the last few weeks. Yeah,
I think that's
coming in glitchy.
Yeah, you're coming in a little bit laggy. Maybe hop off and hop back on. We'll try and and get that going. I'll keep rolling through. Yeah, I got you. So, I agree with Johnny here. I think this is a situation, Whisper Nation, where Christian McCaffrey is probably back next week. But you like this. They didn't put him on IR. You liked that part of it. And now he's back at practice. You like that too. Pat Shermer saying that Teddy Bridgewater is trending in the right direction. This is good news for your Broncos pieces. You're not going to really start Teddy Bridgewater, but our running backs, our wide receivers, Noah Fant, we like that Teddy Bridgewater is trending in the right direction to come back. This one's a really bit shocking, but I guess not for a proud franchise in the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers are reportedly a heck no on benching Big Ben, who we've seen Big Ben's situation be something a little bit scary right now with Big Ben. He's not able to get the ball down the field like we want. He had the one pass this whole season to Deontay Johnson that we liked last week over Jair Alexander, but seems to be just peppering Najee Harris with targets. So that's kind of what we're dealing with right there. I'm going to welcome Johnny back in. How we doing, brother?
All right. Hopefully we good.
Yeah,
hopefully.
Sounds good. Sounds like you're back with us. Just finishing up about Big Ben, but we'll move on to another quarterback in the AFC North. Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield, who has been wearing a shoulder harness to play, suffered a partially torn labrum in his left shoulder on September 19th versus the Texans, sources say. No surgery needed as of now. He was listed on the report after the injury. And hasn't missed a practice snap yet. Johnny, big news here. This is on the non-throwing shoulder, but we saw Baker Mayfield very inaccurate last week. Mm-hmm. Big news here, or are you kind of just rolling with it?
I'm just rolling with it. It does make sense why they might like Kareem. Well, we'll talk about Kareem Hunt in a little bit, but it does make sense why he's been a little bit more involved. They continue to run a lot as well. So, it's just something to keep monitored. But, hopefully it'll heal sooner rather than later.
Chris Carson, this is probably the biggest news, especially with tonight's game going on. Chris Carson has a chronic long-term neck injury, Johnny, and he's probably not going to play on Thursday. So this is what we're looking at. Continue to monitor this. This hasn't been announced yet officially. Obviously, it's 90 minutes before kickoff that they'll announce inactives or actives. Mm-hmm. But Alex Collins would be a very sneaky ad for you right now if he's still available on your waivers. He was an ad for on the waiver wire column in the show that we put out on Tuesday. Johnny's shaking his head because he knows I went and snuck Alex Collins on my roster in the league record.
$2 dollars over me. $2. I knew it. I knew I should update to what he.
Alex Collins has looked explosive in limited snaps this year. He tends to do this. He tends to have flashes of looking pretty good. This is the offense that he knows, decently well. He's played before in Seattle. Mm-hmm. How are you feeling about Alex Collins? Where on the radar would you put Alex Collins if Carson were to leave or not play this game?
I think he's a running back, low end running back 2, has some upside. Obviously, a little bit of a difficult matchup here, but again, he is look good. We know they're going to run the ball. We do know that they're going to slow down the game, or try to anyway. And so I do think he's like that RB3, RB2 borderline. I know we had some good questions about whether or not they'd start Collins or Damian Williams. A lot of people are asking that. I would rather start Damian Williams over just because he has a better matchup than what Collins has tonight. But I do think you could throw Collins in there if you need a running back. He's got upside. Like they could rush for a touchdown tonight. Like that's is a possibility.
I definitely agree with you that Damian Williams is the start. I'm trying to find the sweet spot for Alex Collins because right now I have a couple, personal situations where I'm trying to figure out Collins, but I think he is on the RB2-3 borderline, and he's definitely going to be somebody, especially with the way the running back position is so depleted right now. So I think Collins is going to be a guy you can get in there. This is supposed to be a high-scoring game. Seattle is at home. They'll want to try and control the tempo here because they're playing against a high-flying Rams team. So I do think Collins is going to get plenty of work should Carson sit. So I definitely think he's worth the start. All right, we'll roll through some of these other topics. Jimmy G did not practice yesterday. Trey Lance is looking like he's going to start this game, Johnny. Mm-hmm. That is good news for those, basically. It's good news for Trey Lance. I mean, this is going to be something to monitor very much so. On the Bears side of the ball, we have Justin Fields being announced the starter going forward. Finally, the Andy Dalton era is done. We can move forward with Justin Fields. This is another matchup for Justin Fields against the Raiders that we're looking closely with Bill Lazor as another game that he's going to be calling plays. So I'm excited about Fields and his outlook.
Yep.
Really quickly, we have the Dolphins placing Will Fuller on the IR due to a finger injury. He's going to at least miss the next 3 games. Any uptick at all for Gesicki, Parker, and the boys? Waddle, those guys?
Parker, huge beneficiary. Monitor him, though. He did miss practice yesterday. I do expect him to give it a go, though. And then also Gesicki, man. He's like a go-to guy right now for Brissett.
Last 2 items here. We have Sean McVay wanting to get Woods more opportunities.
We'll talk about this.
I know you're pretty excited about that. We'll obviously talk about the squeaky wheel narrative there, but maybe better days ahead for Woods. Feels like we've been saying that all year, but let's see. Josh Gordon, now official, will make his re-debut. Johnny's boy Josh Gordon, ready to just set the world on fire. No more
pick him up. You won't.
Fire. Yeah.
Would you pick him up?
I did not. Actually, no, that's a lie. I picked him up in a Yahoo League. I didn't pick him up.
Fair enough.
All right, Whisper Nation, that does the news and notes. We see your questions. We're going to continue to work through the show, and we will get to those questions right after. We're excited. All you guys in here, about 15 of you guys watching, smash that like button, hit that subscribe if you're new to the channel, and keep those questions coming. We're going to get to them at the end of the show. We appreciate that. We're going to move into the next segment of the show on Thirsty Thursday here, and that is buy low, sell high. It's a favorite in the fantasy community. How do we get out of this guy at a maximum value? How do we bring on a guy that's about to pop off? So Johnny and I are going to pick one player each on the buy low and the sell high situation. And so let's start with the buy low. And Johnny, I'll start it off here with Calvin Ridley, because I think Calvin Ridley, especially after today's news, also we didn't get to cover that, but Calvin Ridley will not be traveling with the team to London. Personal matters. He's missed practice the last couple of days, and he's not going to go to London. But I think another situation where we can buy low on Calvin Ridley. This is even better because you can be making your case for a whole nother week. He's got 28% of his team's target market share. That's absolutely awesome. He's got no other player on the Falcons has over 18%. He's third in the NFL in red zone targets this year, and he's never even got a touchdown on the year. So we love that because it's just he's due. You think about what's going to happen and what should progress or regress back to the mean, and he should be getting these scores. But the big one are in these advanced metric. Number 2 in the NFL in unrealized air yards with 289. He's number 2 in the NFL in air yard share with 48%. 48% of his team's air yard share. I mean, that's massive. He's missing the London game, but it's only a matter of time before he pops. And I think you should go get him either this week or next week, because I think his opportunity is just going to start really. I mean, the opportunity's there, but he's really going to start cashing in on that opportunity right now. We've seen some weird things in that offense. Mike Davis and then Cordarrelle Patterson is a guy that's, I'll talk about him in a second, but he's a guy that's definitely making the most out of those plays. I think it's going to shift towards more in Kyle Pitts and Calvin Ridley's favor going forward.
Yeah, I do think it is interesting, right? I've been, the one anti-Calvin Ridley, right, on the show. However, I do think it's starting to get to the point where his value is ultimately like it's bottoming out. And
Right.
So I do think that you can go out and acquire him. And like you said, then it's like a no risk trade for you right now, because the people that are asking about trading for Ridley right now, like they're having to give up very little for him. And so I do think, due to the market share there, they have started the last 2 games. So you can talk about over 10 targets. That's where you want to get Ridley. If he can get over those 10 targets, then history dictates and shows that he does well with that amount of targets. And like you said, he should be due for some more touchdowns. That offense kind of stalls in the red zone quite often, or the fantasy glitch just takes all the touchdowns there.
Johnny, I wanted to kick it back over to you because you have a guy that's been somebody you've been hyping up all offseason, and you think there's an opportunity to buy Chase Edmonds low here.
Yeah, I know it might sound a little disgusting. You're like, Chase Edmonds, he once again hasn't scored any touchdowns. Why would I want that? I want upside guys, Johnny. Why are you giving me Chase Edmonds? It's blah, like he's just blah. Well, I disagree. 1, I think he's a really talented running back, and 2, stats kind of back that up, right? 3 out of 4 weeks, he's had 11 or more carries for this offense. As we already know how explosive this offense is, top 5 in the NFL. He's had at least 4 targets in each of his first 4 games. He is by far the pass catcher running back there for Arizona, which Kyler likes a lot. He checks down to him quite often. He's had at least 1 red zone carry or red area carry in the first 4 games. They really do want to get him a touchdown. They tried on the last game against the Rams. He's 11th in rushing yards on the season. So despite, not getting or having a lack of touchdowns, he's certainly putting it down on the field right now, Travis. 3rd in breakaway runs, which is also why I do think he does end up getting in the end zone more than what he has already or what he hasn't really through the season. But I do think he starts scoring some touchdowns because, like I said, 3rd right now in breakaway runs. Eventually he's going to break away for a long touchdown, and you're going to want to have him on your team. Right now he's an RB2 with RB1 upside, and yet you can go and get him for minimal right now because people are, when they say Chase Edmonds, like they don't really believe in him, nor do they does he carry a lot of value because of his name. But you look at the analytics, Travis, and he's actually performing quite well. And then you talk about James Conner, not exactly the biggest guy on a bill of health, right? So if anything did happen to James Conner, it would be interesting. They would probably use Edmonds more as that goal line running back.
Yeah, I think this is an interesting one to put in here because I do think that Chase Edmonds is somebody I didn't think you would be able to buy him low. But if you can sell the narrative that Conner is taking up so much away from Chase Edmonds, you should to the guy that you're trying to acquire, Chase Edmonds, because again, he's getting around 14% market share, I believe, or 14% target market share. And that's the big winner for me because we're trying to find somebody else, AJ Green, Christian Kirk, Rondale Moore in this offense. Maybe really it's Chase Edmonds. That's the secondary option in the offense right now at a 14% market share. And he gets some rushing ability too. And he's had some big pop plays. So for me, Chase Edmonds is a snag right now as a firm RB2 with weekly RB1 upside.
Yep.
All right, Johnny, maybe you have picked up Cordarrelle Patterson on waivers, and you're sitting here like the rest of the industry telling you to sell high. I agree. I agree that we should sell high on Patterson. And it's only because I don't think Patterson goes away here, Johnny. I don't think that he's going to be somebody that just completely falls off the map. But this production that he is seeing right now, 5 total touchdowns on the year, Johnny, on 49 touches. I mean, that is the epitome of unsustainable. In week 4, he only played 23 of a possible 76 offensive snaps, and he scored on 25% of his pass routes. Once again, unsustainable. The activation and use of Wayne Gallman last week tells me they want to move more to a 3-headed backfield, especially as the ground game, is concerned, just pure rushing. And that's concerning in itself because I don't think Patterson has a path to actually take over the job as the running back here. They see him more as a utility weapon in the offense. On the season, you look at this, 35% snap count, 31% rush percentage, and 13.7% target share. He's living on extremely high efficiency and pass splash plays. Sorry. He's touching the ball on 46% of his snaps. That's the big one for me. He's getting low snaps and then touching the ball every time he gets in the game. That's not something that's sustainable. That's not something this offense can telegraph and continue to do. And again, the 5 touchdowns in 4 games, there's just too much here screaming at us numbers-wise to say like, hey, this is not going to last. Try and get him at maximum value. I've been shopping him for a guy like Calvin Ridley. I know of people that have shopped him for Robert Woods because if you want to buy the dip on Robert Woods, I understand it, I guess. I think for me, it's just like about trying to return wide receiver 1-2 borderline for him and see if you can't get that back, and running back 1 borderline with somebody with more consistent volume than what we're seeing right now out of Cordarrelle Patterson.
Yeah, you could definitely get a lot for him right now because, he's had 3 out of 4 games where he's blown up. And so, many people will look into that and they'll say, okay, I think it's going to be consistent. And so you could probably get a really good deal done like that, depending on your league. Now, if you're in a higher stakes league, it's going to be more difficult because, like you said, a lot of people are looking at that stuff and saying, well, the efficiency can't be sustainable. But we have seen it happen before. Anomalies do happen from time to time. Again, I think, you don't necessarily have to get rid of them, but if you can sell high, then do it. Because here's the big piece real quick before we move on that I like that you guys said. Austin brought it up on the show and you've talked about it as well, where if you can swap, because is Patterson still going to be good? Yeah, I do still think he's going to be good. Now, will he regress? I do think, because those are astronomical numbers. But if you can trade him for something that is something more consistent or something that has a greater potential to return the value than what you're already getting right now in Patterson, then you make the trade, because now you're banking on the fallback kind of thing with the same upside.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is, like, if you went 0 RB and you're sitting there and you picked up Patterson, I don't necessarily think that you need to go trade Patterson. Go ahead and just kind of, figure out what you need to do there and keep him on the roster. But if you have some plethora of backs and you have plethora of wide receivers and you're looking for more consistency at either position, go and take Patterson and trade him for a guy that's maybe even a little bit low volume-wise, or people are a little bit off of, and go grab them if you can. Johnny, who is your sell high candidate? Well, actually, before I do that, Mike Rice says, new to the channel, made sure to hit the like button. Mike, we love it,
Appreciate
man.
you, Mike.
In. We love everybody that's here watching. We will get to the questions. We're about done with this segment of the show. We're going to do buy low, sell high this segment, and then some quarterback wide receiver matchups. But Mike, welcome to the channel. Hit that sub if you like fresh fantasy football content, and we will continue to get to everybody in the chat here with your questions shortly. Johnny, we have one more sell high for you, and you are talking about the Cleveland Browns running back, Kareem Hunt.
Might not be another popular topic here, but listen, talking about overperformers, that's why I'm bringing up Kareem Hunt, and it's just overperformer and sustainability. Can he continue this? And data said he would suggest he can't. He's currently the RB6 in standard, RB8 in PPR, only seeing 41% of his team's opportunity share. Travis, 2 out of his 4 games he's played in, he's had 41% or fewer snaps. So talking, similar to Cordero, right? Getting not a huge snap count, but he is certainly producing much more than what he's getting as far as his touches. 16th in rushing yards right now and 15th in receiving yards for running back. So it's just not lining up. He's very touchdown dependent. If you look at his game-to-game breakdown, he has 3 rushing touchdowns 3 touchdowns right now in the season. In those 3 games, he was RB13, RB2, and RB16 in PPR. You look at the game where he didn't score a touchdown this season, he was RB43. They're playing the LA Chargers this weekend, which gives up the 5th fewest receiving yards to running backs this season so far. So I do think that it's a time to get out of Hunt right now, is to sell kind of high because he's coming off a major game. So if you can, like we were, similar to talking with Patterson, you can get an upgrade at a running back position that's getting more volume and is going to be more consistent, then I think you do that right now with a guy like Kareem Hunt.
So we've got the chat is popping off, and I know we said we would wait, but I have to get into some of this stuff here. First of all, Eric saying just subbed. You guys are awesome. Appreciate you, Eric.
Yeah.
Everybody rocking with us right now. But the Chosen Rose comes in and says, someone is offering me CMC and Darnell Mooney for James Robinson and Calvin Ridley. What are your thoughts? I said, smash this deal. Absolutely take this deal right now.
Yes.
Because CMC returning back to practice, especially if it's PPR, that's great news for you. He didn't go there. And I just think this is the way you got to do. Take that deal absolutely right now.
Yeah,
all right.
Darnell Mooney really coming on with Fields seems to have a connection there.
And if they continue to let him go deep, I think Mooney's a whatever piece in this deal. The deal here is CMC. I would do James Robinson and Ridley for CMC immediately now. But then you get Mooney as a little upshot, little swing. I think, Corey coming in here is CMC still at risk for another injury. Sure. But everybody in the NFL playing the running back position is. And we've already seen that we don't trust the Jaguars with James Robinson from week to week. We know he's going to have his spiked weeks, but he's not going to be what he was before. And then Ridley, I do think, is a buy low, but we already have a personal issue and some things we're dealing with. Go get CMC now if you can. And that's a league-winning move right there. If CMC can stay healthy and do what he does, then that's a league-winning move.
And with CMC reportedly coming back soon, now the value for Chuba is going down. So you can now go and try to handcuff him for a lot cheaper than you could.
What's not being talked about a lot with CMC either is that there's maybe even a bigger ceiling for CMC than we've seen, because if Darnold hits another level and this offense is better, then CMC is going to have better opportunities. And I think that's just good all around. So basically, I think I like that too. All right. Last section of the show before we jump into the fan questions. We appreciate every single one of you in there. Keep hitting that like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel. We're going to talk about cornerback and wide receiver matchups. We look at some PFF data. We look at some other, detailed stats here, and we're trying to pick guys that we think have a tough matchup that you should temper expectations on, or they have an exploitable matchup that we really like. So I'll start us off with one of those exploitable matchups, and I think Jamison Crowder versus Avery Williams of the Atlanta Falcons is a great one to go and target right now. First of all, we got Crowder, who kind of rolls out of bed with 9 to 12 targets. This is a guy over his career that just consistently gets targeted. And we talk about all the time that targets are earned. We know that wide receivers that are really good earn their targets. Slot targets are even more earned because they're going up against, worse matchups, as far as the cornerbacks are concerned. So I really like what Crowder brings to the table, regardless. Then he goes 7 of 9 in his debut for 61 and a touchdown. Zach Wilson himself seems to pepper the slot with targets. We've seen that in the preseason. We saw it in the games he's been able to throw. Godwin, who was the last healthy, good slot wide receiver to face Avery Williams of the Atlanta Falcons, went 4 of 5 for 62 yards and a touchdown. So we like that. PFF has this matchup graded on a scale of 100 as a 76.3 for Crowder, or good. We like this matchup. And then Atlanta, they are allowing the second most receiving touchdowns and the 4th most points per game to wide receivers right now in fantasy. I think if you pick Crowder up and you're looking for that PPR flex, there's probably none better than Crowder right now as a PPR flex. Plus, you get a little bit of action in the London game. I love that. Wake up a little bit early.
Oh, yeah, dude. I'm excited.
Turn on the TV and watch Crowder and have something to root for. I love it. So give me Crowder this week as my plus matchup for the cornerback wide receiver matchup. But, Johnny, who do you got in your plus matchup for this week?
So for my plus matchup this week, hey, we said at the top of the show, squeaky wheel gets the grease, baby. We're talking about Bobby Trees I'm getting him in my lineup. I know it seems scary. I know it seems not the right move because Cooper Kupp seems to be that dominant wide receiver for LA Rams right now. And then you got Van Jefferson popping off. So you kind of see Robert Woods hiding in the trees right now. But I'm telling you, he's about to emerge. Listen, if you don't believe me, take it from Sean McVay. This is a direct quote. Robert is a leader. He's a captain, and he's been doing a good job up to this point. We just need to get him some more opportunities, and that starts with me, period, end quote. You're looking at this offense, 6th ranked offensive scoring or for offenses, and only the Chiefs, Cowboys, and Vikings have a higher implied Vegas total for this weekend as far as total points. You got to look to get to Bobby Trees in your lineup. Seattle giving up the 9th most fantasy points to wide receivers this season. I think it's the squeaky wheel gets the grease. I do believe that Robert Woods has a monster game tonight. Thirsty Thursday, come alive. Hopefully it's a big gulp, not one of those terrible tequila shots. That's what I'm hoping for.
Tequila's great, man. I love me some tequila. But hey,
terrible one.
I feel like you're so good at this show. You're like, hey, it's Thirsty Thursday. I got to talk about Robert Woods. So those that are thirsty of putting Woods in their lineup, I can satiate that thirst for them. So I appreciate it. It's good for production. I'm going to talk about now a tempering expectation matchup here. Somebody that we look at the matchup at cornerback and we look at the situation for the team and we say maybe pump the brakes a little bit. And I know this isn't going to be popular, but CeeDee Lamb is my pump the brakes a little bit. He's facing Adoree Jackson. Right now, Adoree Jackson of the New York Giants is ranked as the 24th best cornerback and the highest ranked cornerback on his team per PFF. He's also allowing a catch percentage of only 67% to opposing wide receivers. He's also allowing under a yard per route covered. So that's a big one there that he is basically, especially against these teams that he's faced. I mean, obviously they've had some matchups against, Washington and against New Orleans where the teams weren't as high powered as Dallas. But, I think that CD is not somebody we're trusting a whole bunch either right now, coming off of only 8 targets and 5 catches in his last 2 games. And then additionally, Dallas has just been taking what the defense gives them. They're going to face a New York team that has been slightly more stout against the pass than the run. So for me, it's just, I don't think that I'm benching CeeDee Lamb unless I have a much better option, but based on draft capital, you may not. But I do think that I'm saying, okay, I might need upside more in my flex if I'm starting CeeDee Lamb, because I do think this is a game where CD could kind of not get the best of the matchup this week.
Like it.
Oh, got to give a huge shout out to our guy Matt here with the super chat. Appreciate that, brother. Yeah. That's how you get the chat right in here. He says, yo, what's up, guys? I was offered Kareem Hunt and Mike Williams for Dalvin. What do you think? It's a vampire league. Ooh. I mean, I'm almost tempted to take this deal with Dalvin's injury with the ankle. It's been acting up. I would be hesitant, though, to do it because, as we just said, Kareem Hunt is a guy living off extreme efficiency right now. I do think he's going to stay around the RB2-3 borderline all year. Mm-hmm. Mike Williams is another guy that's really playing very well, Johnny. He had a down game, but he is a guy that they want to continue, especially in the Joe Lombardi offense, feeding him targets. For me, it's tough. I don't think I could give up Dalvin just yet. Not for a guy that I wasn't going to get more consistent usage out. Like the running back I get back has to get more touches than Hunt's getting. Yeah, I think. Even though I do like both Hunt and Williams, I would hold with Dalvin. What about you, Johnny?
Yeah, I think I would have the same response. It is very close, very close for me. But yeah, I think I would just rather have like Dalvin. Dalvin's one of those guys that could. I know we've seen Mike Williams get over 20 fantasy points, but Dalvin just does it so consistently. So it's hard to get that out of your lineup,
You got it. Matt says, cool. Thanks for the advice. Thank you, Matt. Hopefully you're new to the channel. Hopefully you hit that subscribe button and you help us continue to grow. We're trying to get to over 3,000 subs. We're on our way doing that. Johnny, your temper expectation matchup. That's the last one. And then we'll get into these fan questions here.
All right, so my last one here, temper expectations. Look, he's coming off of a good game. There seems to be a building of a rapport there, and that is Kenny G. I understand that he had over 100 yards receiving last week, and it looks like a great matchup against Dallas, and a high-scoring one at that. But I want you to temper your expectations with Kenny G. You might have some better options in your lineup this week because right now, Trayvon Diggs is the guy that's going to be going up against Kenny G or scheduled to somewhat shadow him. He has been a phenomenal cornerback this year. Probably one of the most improved players. Probably one of the most, if you're talking about defensive MVPs, he's got to be on that list of top 5. He's got a wide. Check this out, Travis. Him and Stephon Diggs have both had a reception in every single game this year. The difference is Stephon Diggs is a wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills who pass a lot, and Diggs is a cornerback for the Dallas Cowboys who is not on offense. So that's a wild stat to me that that's how well he's doing, and I expect him to be shadowing Kenny G this whole time, and really to limit Kenny G. And then I would expect better days ahead for him. I'd probably go and target Kenny G after this week. After he has another bad game, he probably would be dropped because people would think in the one game was just a rare occurrence. And then you could probably get him for pennies on the dollar. But yeah, if you have Kenny G, get him out of your lineup this week.
Right on. That concludes the Thirsty Thursday show. As always, The show is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you go to underdogfantasy.com or you download the app. Use the promo code TFW for $10 free. That's TFW for $10 free on Underdog Fantasy. All right, guys, let's work through these questions here. Appreciate every single one of you popping off today. Thirsty Thursday. You guys are thirsty for some action here, including Oscar the Grouch, who says, let Alex Collins loose. It's time. It could be time here. Chris Carson
Let's go.
Corey Bolt says, what's up, guys? I wonder if Oscar likes Alex Collins. He hates him. He does. Mr. Miyagi comes in and says, start 2. Swift, Hunt, Collins, D. Williams, Sermon, half-point PPR. Well, you're for sure starting Swift, and I actually think you're starting Kareem Hunt here. You're going to continue to roll with Kareem Hunt in the usage here, especially with Baker's shoulder. It does seem like they are more willing to run the football a lot more here, which makes Kareem Hunt be a very vicious 2-punch here. Collins is going to get volume, but the Rams defense, not that great of a matchup, although they did give up some good run over the last couple weeks here. Damian Williams matchup's nice, but I think I trust Cleveland's offense a lot more than I trust Chicago in this one.
Okay, fair enough.
Oscar the Grouch, I'm currently trying to move Mahomes for a top running back because I'm confident I can get the rest of the year with Jalen Hurts.
Oh, yeah.
I drafted him as my backup because I knew he would have this value. I think that's a great deal. You're probably going to get way more value out of Patrick Mahomes than you would Jalen Hurts.
Yep, 100%.
Do it 420 says, hi, guys. What's going on?
Up?
Corey says, I love the extra show. Yeah, he said Thirsty Thursday.
Yeah.
Mr. Miyagi, is it time to drop Gaskin? I have Eckler, Swift, Hunt, Monty, D. Williams, Sermon, and Collins. I'm low on go.
Yeah, I would drop if you have all those running backs. I would. Yeah.
Gaskin, unfortunately, is not.
Dude, what is going on? They loved him so much last year, and now it's like, dude, moved on, dude.
Oscar the Grouch taking shots at the Eagles. It's not a good time to be an Eagles fan, LOL. Well, not really. Yeah. Corey Bolt, Herbert, and Allen as a combo.
Stack? That's a nice stack. Yeah. Better days ahead for Keenan Allen.
He's been really solid, even though Mike Williams has been shining. So has Allen. So Rob Navarro says start Antonio Brown or Renfro since Ridley is out. PPR. I'm definitely starting AB. Like I think that AB's upside, even in a PPR, is way more than. I mean, he got 11 targets last week, so it's not like he's out targeting Renfro. So in a much better offense here. Yep. Mr. Miyagi says start 3. CeeDee Lamb, Deontay Johnson, Allen Robinson, Cole Beasley, Shepard.
I don't think Shepard's going to actually end up playing. I'm playing Deontay.
Deontay Johnson and CeeDee Lamb would be my first 2. Yeah. I know I talked about the matchup, but you're definitely putting CeeDee Lamb in over some of these guys. And then it's Allen Robinson, I think, is the next one. Beasley, obviously, has been up and down with Sanders, kind of emerging here. So I would actually go with Allen Robinson, especially another week here of Justin Fields with another game under his belt against the Vegas secondary that has played well, but isn't actually all that great. Freak Stomper agreeing with us that Brown was to play. Mr. Miyagi says Daniel Jones or Kirk Cousins, Johnny.
Do you go Danny Dimes against
So I think the only thing that hurts Kirk Cousins here is game script, whereas Daniel Jones, I think, could actually fold to the Dallas defense. I could actually see that happening. So I'm going to go with Kirk Cousins. I just trust him a little bit more than I trust Daniel Jones. But
Yeah,
Daniel
with
Jones
Cook-
has sneaky rushing upside. But
Yeah, with Cook, Dalvin kind of banged up. I mean, that's a good running. Like a lot of teams run on Detroit, but with Cook banged up, they could be.
I've been
leaning more.
seeing DeAndre Swift as a sell high on a couple things. I almost brought him up today
Disgusting.
because I know it would have gotten you a little bit fired up. But we have
Why?
Mr. Miyagi asking, trade Swift for Godwin, half-point PPR.
I would not.
I agree with you. I think the ceiling for Swift is much higher with all those mouths to feed in Tampa Bay. Yeah, Edit says Kareem Hunt or Chase Edmonds this week, Johnny. Get your boy
Give me Chase. Give me Chase. Yeah.
Cat's Pajamas saying, what's up, guys? What's up, CP?
What's up, TCP?
Jeez, CTC.
Yeah.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Stroker Knight, would you consider trading Waller if you're in need of RB help? If so, who would you target? Well, this is, Strother, this depends on who you have as a backup tight end. This depends on who is available at running back. We always say it's hard to go say, go get this guy. You're going to need to look at the other team and see what they need. Find a team that desperately needs tight end production. Find a contender, maybe that's their last missing piece, and see if they've got somebody at running back you could go get. But I would hang tight with Waller. We're seeing like Waller's amazing, man. I don't know if I'd be giving up Waller right now.
Yeah, I mean, I would be interested to see if he could get like some kind of value there if he needs a running back help. But like you said, he's a difference maker as well at the tight end position. So
this is kind of a lateral move in some ways, but some guy offered him Zeke. The name here is that guy, Kevin. What's up, that guy?
Oh, I like this name.
Offered me Zeke for Najee Harris in PPR. Thoughts? So Zeke is second in the NFL in routes run at the running back position. Najee Harris leads the NFL in running back targets and receptions. Now that is buoyed by a 19 target game that he had 2 weeks ago. But I think Zeke, I trust the offense. And you know what people aren't talking about? That offensive line looks great, and they're about to get Lyle Collins back. Yeah. They're about to be even better. Zach Martin looking like a stud. The Cowboys offense is one that, like, if they're going to continue to rely on the defense as much as they have been able to, Zeke is going to continue to eat. So, I would trust the better offense here, even if it is more of a time split. I think this is the one situation I would go and get Zeke for. Mm-hmm. Higbee or Knox this week in full point PPR. I don't know how you go away from Knox right now, especially in a PPR, because check this out. We're going to talk about this on the Sunday Night Football matchup. But the Chiefs are allowing the second most catches to tight ends. So in a PPR format, they're allowing 10 points per game because of all the catches they give up to the tight end. I think that plus Knox's touchdown upside, you got to keep rolling in the flames with Knox here.
Yeah, I agree with that. Is Knox this year's Tunyon?
I don't know if I'd go that far, but I mean, maybe. Yeah, he's been very touchdown dependent. That's actually a pretty good stat here. Freak Stomper coming for Zeke here, saying, I think Zeke is Eddie Lacy 2.0 in the making.
Whoa, dude. Those are some. Whoa, dude.
It baffles me that people, it's just because Pollard looks so good, and it's definitely on these limited touches that people continue to doubt Zeke. Zeke has looked good, and he's looked better in every game since the Tampa Bay game to start the year. Remember, Carolina was a good run defense coming into that game. They were a really stout run defense so far in the year, and he made mincemeat of them, kind of rocked them, and he continued to rip off big runs. And once again, second in routes run from the running back position on the year. You love that volume.
Yeah.
Trade D-Hop and Montgomery for Najee and Mike Evans.
D-Hop and
Monty. Man.
Ooh.
I might do this deal.
I would do this. Yeah. I think I would do this.
You get to get out of Montgomery's 4-week window. You get to get out of D-Hop's volume issue right now for another guy in Evans, who's basically kind of a one-for-one replacement. He's also a volume issue one in his offense with touchdown upside, similar offenses. And then you get Najee Harris, who in PPR right now is killing it right now.
And the difference is that Kyler is going to take a bunch of rushing touchdowns. And I know that Tom Brady gets his, fair share of rushing touchdowns, but he throws for more touchdowns than Kyler.
Want to say Corey saying, hey, what's up to Cat's Pajamas?
Oh,
Gus saying,
nice.
What's up, guys? Appreciate you in here. Gus Bus. Freak Stomper saying, how do people think Baker is good? His numbers are like Jimmy G light. Yeah, here's the thing. Baker's in a big year right now.
Yeah.
Because Baker is done with his contract at the end of the year. They could not pick it up. I don't see any reason yet They'd have to get deep in the playoffs for them to keep Baker around. And right now,
Playoffs.
it feels like they're masking Baker, similar to the way that they're
I
masking Jameis
know.
Winston. I don't feel like they want Baker to do anything. And obviously the shoulder injury could be affected.
Do you think teams ever do that just to get them like a little bit cheaper? They're like, hey, we know we can win this other way, so we're just gonna, win that other way, get them a little bit cheaper, and then really ramp them up.
Like, yeah, man,
save some money.
Yeah, kind of limit his upside. They tell the coach, hey, limit his upside.
Yeah.
One Nation for Chavaria says,
Ooh,
I had
nice name.
Chase Edmonds on my bench. They offered me Keenan Allen for a trade. I accepted standard league. So he got out of Edmonds because he was on his bench and got.
I think it's fine. I mean,
needed the wide receiver help. Yeah, I think this is good. I think this is good.
I do like Edmonds a lot better. Keenan Allen. I mean, if you get Keenan Allen, get him.
Mike Rice, should I trade Clyde Edwards-Helaire for Hunt or Patterson? I also have Chubb, Henderson, and J-Rob. Chubb, Henderson, and J-Rob. See, I
would not make this.
Try and go get wide receiver help for CEH. You don't need to go and trade for another lateral position here when you have the other guys. And Hunt and Patterson are both sell highs for us this week, so we're definitely not in on that, Mike. But appreciate you joining the channel today. Appreciate you in a big way. Oh, it's Chuba, not Chubb, that he has on his bench. So that does kind of change it for me, but it's still a situation where I try to go get a wide receiver. Maybe you could package Clyde and Chuba to the CMC owner for something even bigger. So see what you can do there.
Or maybe like Clyde and J-Rob for CMC.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Corey Bolt says at Mike, even with he's asking Mike some questions here. McCaffrey practicing again. It looks like he's going to play. Yeah, I did want to just note the newest update here says that they asked CMC if he's going to play, if he could play, and he says yeah.
Oh, interesting.
He has a good feel for it. It says he has a good feel for it. That's it. Definitely. He said definitely. So it looks like CMC's going to be back this week.
Wow.
Corey Bolt, freak. You think, everything asking there. He's full practice today.
Ignore what I said earlier in the show.
Here. Mike Rice saying new to the channel again. What do you guys think about Russell Wilson or Matt Stafford this week? Eric's asking. I'm going Stafford. I would go Stafford here. He's been the better play this year. He's been the more consistent play. His offense is running more plays. We see the history of Russell Wilson versus the Rams. But I do hope that I'm hoping that Russ is good to go in this one. This is hopefully a high scoring game. He's generally struggled against Seattle or against the Rams. This Rams defense does seem a little bit less locked down than some of the ones in the past. And it still is talented. It still has talent, but remember they've changed over. They've lost Wade Phillips in the last 5 years. They lost Staley over to the Chargers. So I think they're going through some differences in coordinators that's affecting them a little bit. It'll be interesting to see where they're at the end of the year. This is just like a bigger level view of it, but that's just kind of where I'm at with the Rams defense this year. So what you're saying is that they're not taking after Kanye and they don't have the love lockdown, the love lockdown. Yeah, that's right. King Stonewall says, hey, would you guys go Jacoby Myers or Corey Davis in a full point PPR? I mean, I love Jacoby Myers in this matchup too, but I think I'm going to go Corey Davis because I think Corey has a higher ceiling. Yeah, New England's just going to handle Houston in this game. And we look at Houston, they have low wide receiver numbers against them because they continue to get boat raced by all these teams. I think Corey Davis in this Atlanta game really has an opportunity here to go off in a shootout in London. Yep. We answered this one for that guy, Kevin. Yeah. Silver Badger says, who would be some good guys to go after if I trade Patterson? And he's asking in the chat. And again, this is going to depend on what you need. But I think, look at some of the buy low opportunities. I've been trying to shop Patterson for guys like CeeDee Lamb, for guys like Calvin Ridley, for guys like this. Maybe you got to package something, but go after a Stephon Diggs, who people aren't as high on because Sanders has emerged, but he's still getting great targets. And that's so I would definitely look at those situations. Yeah. Corey saying to definitely subscribe. We appreciate you, Corey. Great shows every week, man. We answered this one for Chosen Rose to get that CMC deal done. Mike Rice asking, what's the value on D-Hop? Is he worth trading if my wide receivers are already DJ Moore, Jamar Chase, Marquise Brown, and Antonio Brown? Yes, I think this is an opportunity to sell D-Hop on name value and get something back, like a nice running back piece that you could get back here. Mm-hmm. Andre Silver says, is Patterson and Woods for Mixon and A-Rob trade that is worth it? I think I would do this
Yeah,
deal.
I would do this deal.
And I would do this deal because obviously Mixon banged up and A-Rob a buy low or a guy that's underperforming, but so is Woods. And Patterson's definitely not a guy that's going to get the volume ever that Mixon gets.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would definitely absolutely do this deal, Silva.
Yep.
Appreciate you on the channel. Corey Bolt asking if CMC is worth. Oh, we answered this one. Brendan Hidalgo. I want to trade Melvin Gordon away before Javonte Williams starts taking over. What are some realistic wide receiver targets I can make offers for in PPR? If somebody's really hurting, you can look at guys, like, again, Ridley, Stephon Diggs, maybe in a package. You could look at CeeDee Lamb. I also think A.J. Brown's another guy who's now practicing back-to-back. And if people are frustrated with him sitting on their bench, you could go get him. So that's kind of where I'd be at.
Yeah, you want to search a team that is really hungry or thirsty for a running back.
And Silver Badger just talking again. We just answered this a little bit ago about who we could go for. Should I trade DK and for DeAndre Hopkins and Kareem Hunt? It would mean I'd have to drop Hubbard.
I mean, if CMC is coming back, I think I would do this.
I think I'd do this deal too. I like DK a lot, but he's essentially not getting that many more targets than Hopkins in his slower paced offense. Mm-hmm. And I think Hopkins can have his volume return to him, and Kareem Hunt's just a valuable flex piece to have all year long.
Yep.
Let's see. Still working.
Oh, we got another
Freak Stomp for $2.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Woo!
Should I start Jamal or Gordon as a PPR RB2 here? I would be starting Jamal. Melvin Gordon in a really tough matchup and splitting time against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
21 viewers, only 11 likes. Hook these dudes up, everyone. Appreciate that. Keep smashing that like button. Appreciate you, Mike. SBB says, should I trade Rashad Bateman? Should I stash Rashad Bateman and see how it goes? Mooney is currently available on waiver. I mean, I would rather have Mooney than Bateman right now because we've seen Mooney in this offense and we've seen the chemistry with Fields. But Bateman is worth a stash for sure. But I would definitely drop Bateman for Darnell Mooney.
Yes.
Do It 420 says full point PPR, Cole Beasley, Tim Patrick, KJ Osborne, Marquez Callaway, start 2. I would take Tim Patrick and KJ Osborne in this one. KJ Osborne got back to 7 targets in the last game. They're going to handily take care of Detroit here. I think he could easily get in for a score. And then Tim Patrick again with it looks like Bridgewater may be coming back. I think these are the guys you want to target in this group of guys. That guy Kevin says also another trade offer: CeeDee Lamb for Calvin Ridley PPR. See, these are both buy low targets. I guess
I'd take CD over Calvin.
The volume metrics just aren't there for CD right now. I think you'd just be buying on pure upside. And I think CD is going to be a little bit more inconsistent than we liked. I think both wide receivers for Dallas are going to be more inconsistent than we like. But I understand making the play at upside. I don't mind it. I think both are buy lows for me. King Stonewall says Corey Davis or Jacoby Myers full point PPR.
We talked about this. Corey Davis.
We got this one.
Corey Davis has a higher ceiling.
Should I trade away D. Hopkins and Montgomery for Najee and Mike Evans? I think we did answer this one too. Yeah.
Yep.
G2 Clean TV on Twitch. Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you, man.
Mike Rice says, thanks, guys. You got it. He says, am I crazy for wanting to start Alex Collins and sit DK against Ramsey? I mean, you're not crazy. I just don't think I would sit DK in this one. Especially with Lockett and the injury situation going on with him. I think DK needs to be in your lineup, but it would depend on who you had and who we're talking about. I doubt that you're going to have a ton of better options, but it could be a deeper league or a shallower league. Oh, he's that question.
Got it.
I appreciate you guys. Definitely got my sub and like. Appreciate you, Eric. Cat Pajamas says, Jameis Winston or Mac Jones this week. I'm on Redemption Island right now in the Survivor-themed Guillotine League. Help. I would
Mac Jones.
Yeah, I'd go Mac Jones. Hopefully you're getting bonuses for maybe completion percentage or something like that. Mac Jones is just a guy that's definitely more accurate and probably getting more volume definitely getting more volume than Jameis Winston. Brian says, what do you think about D. Harris if the O-line is healthy? Is this Damian Harris? I love Damian Harris. I think
Yeah.
Damian Harris, last week, if you were with us, he was a buy low because of the matchups are starting to open up. And then post James White ran his most snap share percentage. I know he had a bad game, but he had 64% snap share. That was his highest of his career with the Patriots.
And it was a difficult matchup for him.
He ran the most routes of all the running backs in New England. So I think there's some stuff there to be had with Damian Harris, as long as he can continue to block well and not fumble. Yep. That was the thing, dude. I was watching him last week with bated breath because there were so many close fumbles. It was such a rainy, sloppy game. And it was like, oh my God, do not fumble.
You always worry about that with the rain and running backs, dude, especially with Bill Belichick.
Yeah. Gus Bus says, can I offer Justin Jefferson and Hunt for CMC? I'd be tempted to do this. I am a little bit scared of giving away Justin Jefferson. I think his upside's really elite. If it's PPR, I kind of would consider CMC here, but I think you stick with what you got. I think it's not.
I don't think you would necessarily even have to throw someone like Justin Jefferson in with the deal. I think you go down a step on like the wide receiver tier and pair it with Hunt for CMC.
Yeah, don't sell a guy who's doing what he's supposed to be doing, you know?
Yeah.
Get Hunt with another guy who's overperforming and go for CMC.
Exactly.
The Falcons have announced Calvin Ridley is out for we definitely got that, Silver Badger. Appreciate you with the update there. Breaking news. Yeah, he's not playing this weekend. We know that much. Chubb and Clyde for CMC, or is that a little too much?
That's too much for me. I wouldn't.
I would not.
Chubb is awesome.
10-point PPR league trade, CMC, Jamar Chase, and Aaron Jones. Kittle, what? Is there a
10-team PPR
trade?
league.
CMC, Jamar Chase. Here we go. CMC, Jamar Chase for Aaron Jones and Kittle, his running backs. Would you trade away CMC and Jamar Chase for Aaron Jones and Kittle? I would not do this deal.
No.
Both Kittle and Jones dealing with injury right now. They're a little banged up. Kittle is definitely not who we thought he was going to be coming into this year. A lot of competing targets with other guys there. I would definitely hang on to CMC and Jamar Chase.
I would try trading like Jacobs and maybe even Javonte for if you're really wanting like Kittle. It seems like you might need a tight. Yeah, you're looking for a tight end. So if you wanted to do that.
Should I play Lockett over AJ Green? I'm liking the matchup, and with AJ and Lockett's injury worries me. The injury worries me too, but Lockett's matchup this week is actually against the best cornerback he could face against the Rams. It's the weaker of the matchups. So I actually think I would play Lockett, but I don't mind AJ Green at all. If it really wears you off and you're liking AJ Green, I'd say roll with your gut here. Roll with AJ Green. Lark McFlorg says, hey guys, was wondering. That's a great name.
I know.
Lark McFlorg. Hey guys, was wondering what RB2 you think I should play. Alex Collins, Samaje Perine, Jeremy McNichols.
Give me Alex Collins on this.
Yeah,
one.
I think of all these guys, Alex Collins, Chris Carson likely to be out. I think this is the play here. All right, Whisper Nation, that does it for us. We appreciate each and every one of you in here that joined us. If you like fresh fantasy football content, again, hit that subscribe button. Thank you all for joining us for Thirsty Thursday. We will be back again tomorrow for another live show. We will be doing the news and notes show, going through all the news and notes and the ins and outs and helping you with that. If you want more content, remember you can catch the matchup breakdowns, which we put on all the podcast platforms. And if you want even more exclusive fantasy football content, go to patreon.com/the Fantasy Whispers and help support the brand by also getting bonus content. Appreciate you guys
so much.
For Johnny Game Time Hicks, I'm Big Travi. We're the Fantasy Whispers. We're out.
Peace. Happy Thursday.
Right here.
Congratulations on making it to the end of the video. If you still have a lot to say about fantasy football, maybe you want to give Johnny a little bit of crap for his take today, then go on over to our Discord channel and join the conversation there. Click the link in the description below. And if you still want more content, check out one of these videos.